Hey there, Hamed Yazdi in this beautiful sunny day in Boulder, Colorado. In fact, I got to make this video quick because my friends are waiting for me. We're going to go tubing in the creek. But hey, happy Father's Day. All the gratitude out there to all the fathers in the world, especially mine who helped me out a lot in my life. And this video is actually going to be about what makes a good father and also makes a good leader in network marketing. Okay? Now, Lao Tzu said, if you give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. If you teach a man to fish, you feed him for a lifetime. And Tim Sales actually takes that one step farther and says, if you teach a man to teach his kids how to fish, then you can end world hunger. That's the type of thinking you got to have if you want to be successful in network marketing. So always ask yourself, whatever task you're doing, whether you're making phone calls or you're doing presentations, ask yourself, what could I be doing so that this could have a long-lasting impact within my organization? And it all goes back to the same basics of parenthood when you want to help your kids become more independent and less needy. So a simple example, if you want to teach your kid, let's say you got a 5-year-old kid, he wants to learn how to tie his shoes. Okay, up to then you've been tying the shoes for him. It was faster, obviously, but now you want to start teaching him how to tie the shoes so you can effectively retire yourself from that role of tying shoes. What you do is, you hold one lace while he tries to tie the shoe around the other lace. You might demonstrate it from a few times and explain what you're doing so that he can kind of catch on. And then what happens is, the first time he gets it, it's not going to be a good knot. It's going to come loose. It's going to come undone. But all you got to do is supervise him afterwards and make sure that it's okay. And eventually what happens is tying his shoes on his own. Now here's the other thing you can do. And you can, sorry, one second. Okay, and I'm back. Sorry, my phone fell for a second there. So basically, what you can do after you've taught the kid to tie his shoes, and he's tying his own shoes, is you can walk him through the process of teaching someone else how to tie their shoes. And now he can teach all of his classmates and all of his friends how to tie their shoes. And now what you have a whole group of people tying their shoes because of you, but not by you. So that's effective duplication right there. And a lot of times we forget this simple fact that if we invest the time and teach our people how to do things so that they can independently do them without us, it's actually going to have a really high return on investment for that amount of time. People who don't do it, they're really being lazy, but really they're working harder, not smarter, because the lazy thing is to teach other people to do it so you don't have to do it for the rest of your life. See, you don't want a job. You don't want your job to be the presenter for your entire organization. That's a very exhausting job. You want to be able to walk people through a 3-step process that can ensure proper duplication. Okay, you don't want to be the only one who can make proper invitations or do follow-up calls. So always ask yourself, what could I be doing to make this task I'm doing right now more duplicatable? Whether it's you want to meet someone for coffee and you invite one of your team members to see that presentation so they learn, or even let them do part of the presentation so they're actually doing it while you're watching and you're taking notes to give them homework afterwards and suggestions, or when you're making phone calls. Do you want to make phone calls by yourself, or do you want to open up a conference line so that all your people can listen to you make phone calls, so that not only are you getting your income producing activities done, but you're teaching them as well? Now here's the 3-step process that can ensure proper duplication. Demonstrate it yourself while your new person is listening or watching. 2, hold their hand through the process as they do it and you're watching. And 3, supervise. Okay, so in the second phase you might kind of piggyback off each other. So let's give a simple example of making a presentation. Let's say you want to make a live presentation. So the person's with you, you invite them to come along, and you go to someone's home, or you invite people to your house and you give a presentation. The person's taking notes to learn how to do it themselves. After a few times, you practice with them. You say, okay, I want you to learn how to do the first 10 minutes of the presentation, okay? Or at least introduce me, simple steps at a time, and you're slowly developing leaders, okay? Now that person's gonna do half the presentation, you're gonna do half the presentation. Eventually that person's gonna do the whole presentation. You're just gonna sit back. What you're not gonna do is you're not gonna interfere. You're not gonna try to correct their mistakes right there. You're gonna take notes, and then when everyone's gone, you're gonna sit back, you're gonna congratulate them. Hey, awesome job. I have a few suggestions for you. So this is your homework. Try to go over this so the next presentation you don't make these same mistakes, or you make these tweaks, okay? And so, you could still answer questions at the end because you're more experienced if they want that. But eventually, you want to get to the point where you're just supervising. And then you take that same process with the next person because you've effectively taught one person how to do the presentation. And now you've retired yourself from that position. The faster you can duplicate, the faster you can move on to more leaders and increase the growth and the money that you make in your business, okay? 3-step process, okay? Just like I learned how to go swimming, how the first time my dad, I just watched him, Okay, and I kind of tried to learn just by him demonstrating. Second, he held me on my belly and let me flap my arms until I could float. And then he supervised me as I was swimming, and he made sure that I got it correctly. Now, the one thing you also want to do is take it a step further. After 3-4 weeks that you've taught that person how to do a presentation, don't just leave them alone, but check out the person that they teach to present and go sit on one of their presentations. Just kind of randomly, casually, just to make sure you're duplicating properly. Because remember, if someone repeats bad habits, if someone's doing something incorrectly and you don't do anything about it and you're not aware of it, then you're just enforcing bad habits, and that's a mess, trying to fix those bad habits after they've already duplicated. Okay, so keep in mind, everything duplicates, you want to do it the right way. Think about how you can effectively use your time more productively and retire yourself from these little tasks, so ultimately you can have a business in which everybody's working and you don't have to. And I'll tell you how effectively we duplicated this in our team. At the time, I had about 2,000 people in my team. I completely went on vacation for 2 weeks, okay? And out of 2,000 people, we probably had over 250 people who could do the presentation by themselves. We didn't have any tools. We would do all the presentations, actually kind of just with one prospect at a time. But 250 people were presenting without me. Keep in mind, this was a business in which there was no repeat commissions. I mean, now that I think about it, it's kind of silly that I even got involved, but no repeat commissions. All the commission came from new people. And in those 2 weeks that I was on vacation, I had made about $7,000 without doing a single presentation or even a single training myself. That was because I effectively duplicated those skills into the people in my organization. So if you want a long-lasting residual income and you don't want to be running around like a chicken with your head cut off trying to help 200, 300, 500, 1,000 people in your organization, there's only one of you, then properly implement these skills that might be tedious, they might take more time in the beginning, but I guarantee you, it is so worth it in the long run, because after all, we're all looking for that long-term, reliable, leveraged residual income. I hope this was helpful, guys. Happy Father's Day. Use these same techniques and teaching your kids new skills and just how to raise them so they're more independent, and they will thank you for it. God bless, guys. Enjoy the Sunday.